Okay. Okay. Well, what an honor it is tonight to have Barb with us for Tips from the Top. I cannot wait to hear your actual story. I feel like I've heard it like through the grapevine many of times, but to actually hear it from you is going to be super fun tonight. I know you have a crazy story and an awesome journey that has brought you thus far and going to continue to take you, and so that's exciting. Well, let's kind of jump in and just get started. I'm trying to think, because I believe I really met you at the women's conference when we did that.
I think that is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the I Get To conference, and so that was super fun. And so we'll just jump right in right now if you're okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, why don't you just tell it? I know you have just a crazy mad story, so why don't you just tell us kind of, how you actually got involved, and then kind of go from there. Definitely through to your, Diamond. I know it's a pretty fast story, but we'll go there first.
For sure. Well, my name's Barb. I live in Ontario, Canada, and I have been with the company for just over 4.5 years now. And it has been kind of a crazy adventure for sure. Before It Works, I was a teacher. I ran a licensed daycare center. And then after I had my kids, I was, home doing home daycare, and felt like I kind of lost myself a little bit in that time in my life. And so I started looking for opportunities. I tried a few different work from home type direct sales opportunities, and just, needed something to fulfill me, I guess. And my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and it made me, need to just kind of shift some things in my life. And so I had seen the opportunity of, this industry, and thought, I'm just going to find a way to make this work so that I can be there, with my mom. And so at that point, I, shut down my home daycare and just decided to jump full into it. But I realized that, it is not that easy. I, tried different opportunities looking for something that was going to work well for me. And, I had heard about It Works, but it just sounded too good to be true. And so it wasn't something I would even open my mind to. And I met a friend from another company, and, she joined It Works. And I remember, watching her journey and thinking, there's just no way that actually happens. And, that those products really even work. And so it was, I guess, necessity at the time that, mom was sick and I was looking for product. And that's really where this journey with It Works started for me was, I'd heard about the wraps and just told myself that there's no way that could work. And when I heard about the greens, that's really what got me. And so, it's constant reminder to me that, we have a product for everyone. And sometimes the first thing you talk about isn't going to work for them. And so I have to remind myself of that all the time, because for me, if I hadn't heard about the greens, I don't know that I would be here today. So I got really excited about the greens and thought, I'm going to give this a try. And so at the time, my girlfriend kept saying, oh, there's all this opportunity, in Canada and where you live and with this company. And I was like, if you think there's all this opportunity, you come on out here and I will host a party for you, but I'm not going to join your team. And so she came out, and I had a party. I had 3 people that wanted to sign up as distributors right away for my first party. And I thought, okay, I guess I'll sign up as like local support for these people. Didn't really even plan to do much with it at this point. And so that's, when my adventure began, April 21st, I joined as a distributor, and I just really quickly caught hold of the vision of, where this company could go and what could happen. And I really, I felt bad because I'd taken a year to jump on board. I'd given my friend a really hard time. I cut her up and cut the opportunity up. And so, when I did jump on board, I really wanted to make it up to her. And she was going for a big promotion, and she, needed me to get to Ruby. And I thought, okay, I've got 3 people, I can just talk to more people. And so I literally got on the phone and started messaging everyone that I knew. And I just went crazy. So for the next 9 days, the end of that month, I probably did 30 parties and one-on-ones in the matter of 9 days, and, got on the phone with everyone that I could. And I just, I said to them, like, this is crazy. At the time, it was, the last month for people to be eligible for the $10,000 bonus. And I thought, I don't want you to miss out on this. So I called everybody. I was like, listen, I don't know if this is going to be for you, but I don't want you to miss out. So will you just give me at least 5 minutes of your time? We can chat over the phone. Even better if you'd give me 45 minutes of your time and try a wrap. I really want to see results on people I personally know and trust. And I would love to get your opinion and your feedback on these products, and I could tell you a little bit more. And if even better than that, if they'd get a couple friends together and, get some opinions from more people. And so that's really just what happened. Over the next couple of days, I just kept talking to everybody that I could. I don't think I slept. I don't think I ate, but I was just on fire for this opportunity and what it could do for other people. And the funny thing is at this point, I hadn't even really decided for myself, like, what I was going to do with the business. But I knew that I needed to tell people so that if they decided they wanted to run with it, they could go for this bonus. And, what ended up happening was, we worked hard and I made it to diamond at the end of that month. So 9 days after I started, hit that diamond rank, earned my $10,000 bonus, and had, all these new people on my team just fired up and ready to go. And, so that's kind of like the beginning of my story anyways, of my first 9 days in the business. So
that's weird. I'm like, we're talking to like the record holder of It Works going diamond in 9 days, which is just like nuts to think about. There's a few things that you said that I loved already. Like, one, it's a different product that will grab different people. And I do think that's such a gift. And I too am a fan of the greens. That's what kind of, like, I didn't know anything about it when I signed up. Sherry, I told her no for a good while. Well, just about 6 times in 3 weeks. I'm like, I'm not doing this,
It took my sister 2.5 years. Okay. And I still have another sister on the fence.
That's good to know. But then once I got on, I heard about the greens. I'm like, I'm sold. I will take these forever. Like, and that's what changed my business, that made me buy in. And so I think there is that product for everybody. Like, whatever you think you need, get on it, go for it. And, share it with everyone you love. That's what I think. I'm like, everyone I know and love needs to be taking greens. That's like hands down how I feel about it. I love that you had a why too right away. Like, I know you were kind of curious about what you were, how you're going to go about it, but having that why to kind of drive you with your mom, just kind of having that in the forefront of just exploring even the business so far it's always powerful for sure. And then, that thing that I really love is now I feel like a lot of times people hide behind social media a little bit. Like, I'm scared to ask all my friends, so I'm just going to post and I'm going to ask strangers what to do, but not put myself out there with like my friends because I'm scared of what they think. But so that's what I like, just right away. You just came up with your hundreds list. Like, is that how you how did you go about?
Yeah. And it wasn't even anything, like, things moved so fast. I didn't formalize it. Like, I didn't even make a hundreds list. It was just, I did not use social media at all. At the time I was with another company and I didn't really think that I was going to do this. It was just kind of like, I'll host a party and I'll see what happens. And things took off. And so, I hadn't posted at all. I hadn't talked to anybody from my other business or anything like that, but it was like friends, family. And for me, it was like realizing that honestly, that there were greens out there that actually tasted good. After a year of my mom being in cancer treatment and us trying every different brand that was out there and not finding anything that she could really handle, it was like, I felt like I had found gold. And I knew that, cancer rates are crazy. There's a ton of other people out there with health issues and not eating properly to begin with. And there's people that are trying and using other greens and like, they're suffering, and I have something that's way better. I got to get out there and tell them that it exists. And that's what I loved about the parties too. It was like, come and try this. Like, you are not even going to believe this. You've got to try what this tastes like. And so, yeah, that definitely helped a lot.
Yeah. And so some people are saying like, what'd you say on the phone? But were you kind of like ignorance on fire, or were you like, did you have a plan? Like when you're talking to people, were you just like,
You know what? Like literally what I said to them is, you know, I knew that my girlfriend, she had earned a $10,000 bonus. And I was like, if she can do it, I know I can do it, you know? And I thought, I know great business people out there. And so, you know, for various reasons, I was calling them because, I mean, I was hesitant. I was a real researcher. I was very green type personality when I joined this business. And so I felt like I didn't know enough. And that was part of it too, was like, I was calling everybody I knew and saying, hey, you're really health conscious. Or you really take care of yourself well. Like, I would love your opinion on these products. Will you come and tell me what you think? Because I think I'm getting involved with this, you know? Yeah. And yeah, it was absolutely, I didn't understand the compensation plan or charting or, you know, anything like that really. I just thought I've got to tell these people, well, they still have time to decide. And at least if they get started, they'll be eligible for this bonus, and I'll figure it out later and help them, you know, get where they need to be. So, I mean, it was not anything that was calculated. Like, I literally did not think I was signing up until the night of my party. And it was like, you know, just kind of sprung on me. And yeah, I mean, I just went through talking to everyone I knew and thinking like, who has health concerns? My verbiage was pretty much the same for everyone. And I just said, listen, I don't know if this is going to be for you, but I think that this is an amazing opportunity. I've seen people make it work, and I know if they could, you probably could. You're a really great business person, or you're somebody who's very health conscious, or you know, I know that you could use the extra income, whatever it was, making it personal to them and just saying, will you just at least give me 5 minutes of your time to chat, you know, 45 minutes to wrap you, or, you know, an hour and a half, come to like a night out and have a chance to sample everything. And I just started booking stuff. It was like, okay, well, how about tonight? Like, why don't you just come over tonight? And then I was like, well, I'm having a party tonight, to the next person on the phone. You know, it was like I was planning it as I went. And I was fitting in one-on-ones in between everything. I remember driving around in crazy snowstorms and whatnot, living here in Canada, trying to meet people in the bad weather and whatnot, just to make it work. Yeah. And it was really more about them. Like, when I started this business, I was very green, yellow. And it was, you know, I wanted to help people have the opportunity to do this. And it was more about helping my girlfriend, you know, reach her promotion, and helping other people, you know, not miss out on the opportunity to go for this bonus and to hear about the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was going to say when I was listening to you. That was one of the things I was going to bring up, is because you made it very much about them. Like, hey, this is an opportunity you could take. I know you feel this way. And so you're knowing the person you're talking to, and people know that. They can sense if they're genuinely interested in them, or it's just another person, you know, you're trying to get to buy something. And so a few things: don't be scared to ask your friends to host a party for you, even if they're willing not to sign up. I mean, I think that would be a great action plan, that when we leave, is ask one of your friends who says they're not going to do the business if they'll at least throw a party for you in the next few weeks. And
everybody who hosts a party is going to join your business. So
yeah, no, I love that. Okay. And I love that you said, I care about your opinion in it. I think that's great for starting out, especially when people are like, how do I sign up a loyal customer? What do I do? I mean, you just got to go, hey, I'm trying something. There's over 40 products. I can't try them all to see if they work. I know you're interested in, you know, pretty hair, or, you know, detoxing, or being healthy, or whatever. And then saying, would you try it and give me your honest opinion so I can, you know, I think that's awesome. Okay. So literally that's like your first week and a half in the business.
Yes. Yeah, it was very, very fast paced, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
You know, very quickly, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That was like learn as you go. Perfect for a green too. Yeah. You put yourself out there, yeah. Which is good. Okay. Tell us about then your journey from there, even to, I sound far. Uh-oh. Do I still sound really far? Or can you hear me okay?
Oh, I can hear you okay, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so tell us about your, like, the kind of the rest of your story up to now.
Okay, well, a big part of that, first year of my business, I got to tell you, my husband was not on board. He was actually very much against the business because he had seen me try other work from home type opportunities. That was one of his drawbacks, like, here we go again, and me needing to spend so much time with my mom and the expense it was. We live about 2 hours from where my mom was. And so driving back and forth all the time, it was like, we don't have the extra money for you to do this. And not and have something not work again. And so I really just had to believe so hard for myself that this was possible, that I was able to get past what he thought and really develop that kind of, don't believe me, just watch kind of attitude. And I know that it's really hard for anybody who does suffer with, not having your family or your partner's support. But use that to fuel you, because when you look around this business and you look at other leaders, you can see that people have made this work. And truly, I believe that anybody can make it to the top in this company. It's just about how bad you want it. You can acquire any of the skills that you need to make this work. It's just about if you're going to or not. And so yeah, I think, that first year was kind of crazy. And then, we had our own health challenges. I'd been told that it would be very unlikely for us to have another child. We had 2 children at the time when I started, and we tried for like 5 years. But I got on the products. I started seeing a change in my own health. I ended up getting pregnant again. And so I had like an awful pregnancy. My last 2 kids, I've been so sick, like this condition called hyperemesis makes you vomit like 40 times a day. But anyways, I got pregnant and I'm so sick, and I wanted to go to conference so bad. But we couldn't afford it. And so I needed to take cheap flights. So I needed to drive to Buffalo, and I didn't want to do that by myself, pregnant in the snow in January. And so I convinced my husband to get me down there. And he just wanted to go fishing when we got there. Really, that was his plan. And so we left and we got to conference, and I was like, you got to come with me the first night. Like, you need to just stay with me until I connect with other people from my team. And so we went to the Thursday night opening ceremonies, and they had the Millionaires Club across the stage. And I kept telling him the opportunity that I saw with It Works, but he just couldn't see it himself. And we sat there, and I remember him turning around and looking at me, after hearing some of them share their stories and tips, and saying, you know what, Barb, you're right. There's nothing different from these people to you and I. They just found a good opportunity and they worked really hard. I know that you can do this, but I bet you'd get there faster if I helped you. And it's like those words are imprinted in my memory forever, because I came home with a totally changed husband. So, if you have not made the decision to get to conference, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. Get your partners there if you can. It's a huge game changer. And so I remember that night we went back to our hotel room, and I was so sick that I just went upstairs to be sick and go to bed. And he ended up hanging out with the team downstairs. And the next morning I woke up and people were like, your husband is so inspirational. And I was like, who are you talking about? And he literally made this speech to everybody being like, that's it. I'm all in. I'm going to make this work. And so we came home, and on the way home, we made this list of our dreams and our goals. And it was really the first time we'd ever set goals out together. And we came home, and the next morning he let me sleep in because I was pregnant. And I remember he woke me up, and he had taken each of our goals and written them out onto big sheets of paper. And he made me make this stupid video that's on YouTube. It's really silly, of just the 2 of us, him going from being this standoffish guy to doing a goofy dance at the end, and being it had so changed his perspective. And so, we had these goals, and I went into conference a really weak double, and I remember hadn't even started a 3rd leg for triple or anything like that. So coming home from conference, thinking about building a whole new leg, another diamond, that was a big, overwhelming feat to me at that point. And so he was like, what's your goal? And that had been my goal for the year. And he was like, no, you've got people on your team that are pushing for March goal because of all these bonuses on the table. You got to push for it for March. And I was like, all right, I'm willing to push for it if you're going to support me. I just don't know, and he was like, okay. So he wrote it down, triple diamond, March 31st. And then said, okay, so you're going to go presidential by the end of the year then, right? And I was like, okay, we'll push it. And so, again, like I'm pregnant here, super, super sick. And so I just decided, I was going to go for it. I remember doing parties like almost every night with all my new distributors, getting them to launch. And key on a side note, one of the most important things in promoting fast was getting people to buy booster packs when they got started, so that they got started with a lot of product and they had the drive to have those launch parties, to sell the wraps, to make their cash back, and to be able to feel like they've started their business with no debt and they're making money right off the bat. So that was really, really key. But anyway, so I'm doing these parties, and I remember I'd be in the bathroom, like I'd wrap somebody, they'd go out, I'd close the door, throw up, open the door, wrap the next person, and literally that was how I lived for, the next couple of months. But sure enough, we hit every single goal that we made on that dream board, on that silly video. And I not only I made triple diamond by March, and then guys, I went presidential in April. 1 month to go from triple to presidential. And it was crazy because then also my husband went diamond and double diamond, and we earned $100,000 in bonuses between the two of us. And it was just I was so on fire for my business, and I was able to have a baby, be able to take that time. We retired him a month before my daughter was born. So January was conference. We retired him in April, and she was born in May. And he's been home ever since. It's been almost 4 years that he has been a full-time stay-at-home dad.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was getting to presidential. And then within the next year, I got pregnant again. And I tell you, that's a good driving force for me. For any of you pregnant mamas out there, use this time to fuel you and tell yourself, you don't know what's going to happen when the baby comes. So use the time to make things happen. And I did. And so we went ambassador, just while I was pregnant with my son. So, it's definitely been a crazy ride. We've earned $222,000 in bonuses. More than the income even is just how much I've grown as a person, how much it's impacted our relationship, my relationship with everyone around me. And more than anything else, I was able to spend a lot of time with my mom. This year, especially, in January, she got sick again, and I was able to take her to every appointment and to every chemo until she passed the end of May. So, I that alone, guys, is absolutely priceless. And I'm so grateful to this company. It's been a family that has supported me through, tough times in my life. But it truly does become a family. And, keep in mind that it is not always about money for people. People have so many different needs, and maybe it is that freedom of time. Truly, cancer rates are 1 in every 2. And there are so many people in your life and on your social media who have sick family members who need more time with them. Time is something that we can't get back. And so this business can buy you that time freedom. And we've got to talk about that. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the income. And I mean, even if I had to walk away without a penny that I've earned through this business, the personal growth alone has been absolutely priceless. And definitely, watching other people take this adventure and run with it, that's what gets me excited now. And I kind of lost my why a little bit, when my mom passed. She was my reason for why I joined the business in the first place, because of those products. And I worked my tail off with the business, to recover our own family's financial situation, but to be able to help my mom. And so we were able to do a lot for our family in so many different ways. And I think, when she passed, it was I lost my why a little bit. And we've got to keep that front and center. And it's really cool when you dig deep and you realize that, over time you will grow and you will change in this business, and you'll realize that your why is so much bigger than you. God has a purpose for each and every one of us that's beyond us. And so I was able to go on a missions trip to Africa in October, and I'm going back again in May. And, God's just opening doors and showing me places that he wants to use me. And, it's not about the money. It's about what the money can do for you and what the money can do for other people, because, you know, God wants good people to have good money so that they can do good things with it. And, you know, if you just truly allow yourself to be a tool to, like, you know, be blessed to be a blessing, then he's going to show you the path that he has for you. And it's been the craziest adventure of my life, you know, just kind of discovering that as we've gone too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like just sitting here just trying to take it all in. I'm like, okay. Because one thing I love, I feel like you hear a lot from people, who are being more read, you know, so they are driven by, you know, a little more of money or a goal, like this is my goal, this is what I want to do, you know, like a position in a sense. And so it is cool because you always hear people say, hey, we're dealers of hope, you know, like we get to offer hope to people. And then, you know, even when you talked about conference, I remember the first time I saw the Millionaires Club, I was like, I could do this, you know, like I was like, wait, I could do this. Like I always thought, oh, Sherry can definitely do this, you know, because her personality and how she is, and I'm a little more stand back, and I'm like, wait, I could do this too, which was awesome. But then I felt like from there, I realized that it's not at all about me. It's about everybody else that you get to help along the way. And how this, I'll always remember Danielle's on here, one of the presidentials on our team, and she talks about how even this business can bring out the best of you and the worst of you at the same time. And sometimes you get to grow from that. You know, that's one of the reasons why you would do a business like this, is because it challenges you to grow as a person. I'm like 100% with you. Like, take all the money away that we've earned, and what I've got as a person blows it far, far away. You know, like I'm just, gosh, for my family and for my husband and just the people around me, I'm so thankful for this opportunity. And two, I'm glad that you're saying, because you're right, not everybody is motivated by money. And I think sometimes we hit that a lot, but most people are motivated by time. You know, like what are you getting to do with your time? Where's the extra time you have going to when you don't have enough money? But to know you can do this and use your time, like you said, for just something so much more valuable, you know, than punching a 9-to-5 or working for overtime, or, you know, I mean, I just think now I have a 12-year-old. I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be one of her favorite people, but as long as I am, if I can, you know, still get time, that's a gift, you know? And so anyways, gosh, I'm just like sitting here blown away. Okay. So in all of that, because you've had times where you've been super crazy, and you've had times where you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing. What are your like every day looks different probably, I'm sure. 4 kids, that's enough to say every day is going to look different, you know. But what are, like, do you have like a non-negotiables? Like, what are some of your things that would be like, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do this every day, or at least every week? Or
well, I think like prayer and personal development need to be like number one every single day. Connecting with your team and truly charting. You know, I can honestly say like that, I guess that was a lot of the green in me. But like I charted everybody on my team all the time. And, you know, I feel like I had such a good heartbeat on my team. Like I knew every single person on my team personally until I got to like presidential, you know, and it was really like, you know, when you focus on other people's goals, it's so true that we rise by lifting others. And when you focus on finding those people who have a strong why and who have a deep need and who really want this, you know, your energy's going to be fueled when you surround yourself with people that want this as bad as you do. And we know it's, you know, it's not going to be everybody that's going to run hard, and, you know, that 80-20 rule, right, comes into play. And so, you know, I think just finding the people that want this, and knowing people's stories too, because I remember listening to one of the speakers early on in my career who said, you know, when you talk to a new distributor, to say to them like, okay, so when you have a bad day, how do you want to handle it? You know, do you want me to leave you alone and give you space, or do you want me to get in your face and remind you about why you started this? And it really set the tone for me to realize I need to know why. I need to know my distributors' whys. I need to know what they're here for so that I can remind them, because it's not about them doing this for me or, anything else. It's about like, why did they start this? And that's really, really key. And then, doing that every day and filling my schedule, is key to me. I have built, I would say, like 99% of my business all belly to belly. I am not a strong person on social media, and that's okay. I went through a period of time feeling like I had to figure it out and had to make that work for me. But you know what? Play to your own strengths. I love to get out and meet people face to face. I love to blitz. And I mean, of course, I wasn't that way right from the get-go, but I acquired that skill, and I love to meet people and hear their stories. And, I think we're always concerned about like how people are going to interpret us and whatever. And I love that, like when I meet someone face to face, they can see my heart, my genuinity. And I just, I want to share something great with people. So I love building face to face. And so doing parties, is still a main part of my business. I love to be there with my team members, even when I can, when they're launching. I love to do trade shows. So I do try and keep my calendar fairly full, and I try and get out as often as I can so that I put myself in a position to meet people, because I think that God did put me here for a reason, and he's going to put people in my path that are meant to be here too, and I don't want to miss them. So
I love that. Okay, so they're going, Blitz tips, give us some Blitz tips. So what would be a few of your top Blitz tips?
Well, always be prepared. So I always tell new distributors, like, non-negotiable, they have to put Blitz cards in their wallet, because how many times do you run into a store without your purse, but you take your wallet? And don't give yourself a reason to not blitz someone. I think that if you exchange money with someone, they deserve to know where your money is going to come from. So give them a Blitz card. I think that people that work in the service industry, especially, people that work retail, or, cashiers, or people at the grocery store, waitresses, they deal with people. So they've already, they've ticked a lot of the boxes for an ideal prospect for me. They have obvious people skills. They have some sort of work ethic because they're showing up to a job. They aren't getting to choose their own hours. They're not going to choose how much they get paid. And maybe they're not getting as many hours as they want, or maybe they're looking for something else. So when you can compliment someone and tell them, that they have a skill that would make them really good at this, that gets people excited. Because, I always think the best presentation is when you can answer people's questions before they ask them. And in the back of people's minds, they're going, am I good at this? Is there interest in these products? Will I be successful? All those kind of things. And so I typically, again, do the same thing. If it works, it works. So when I'm out there blitzing people, I typically, when I give them, I find a reason to bring it up and give them a card. And I just ask them, have they heard of the company before? I don't ask them about the wrap specifically, because I don't know what it is that they're going to be interested in. I think it's really, really key to learn about personalities. We talk about color personalities and stuff, and that is something that I learned in this industry long before it works, that has bode me very well, I think, in this company. But, being able to read people's personalities too helps as you approach them. So I just say, have you heard of the company before? And I let them know we're a health and wellness company. This is our signature product, but we have a whole bunch of other, greens, whole food vitamins. Like, look and see what perks them up when you talk about skincare or whatever. And then just to say, like, hey, by the way, if you know anybody in the area who's interested in making some extra income, please pass my information along to them, because there is so much interest in the area. I can't even keep up with the demand. And I would love to share it with them. And then you're kind of telling them, like, all the fears that people are going to have. You're kind of talking through that, letting people know, like, we get to help people feel better and look better. We get to, have so much fun with what we're doing. We have amazing quality products with, like, an ingredients list for everything. And, we also can work for big bonuses and have goals. So you can touch on each of those different personalities in, like, a sentence or two when you talk to people. And when you learn to kind of weave that into your conversation, you can be really effective. and kind of figuring out what it is that people are looking for.
Right. And I love what you said too. You're like, I became a good blitzer. So part of it is most of this business is a process. Like you're not gonna like boom here. I mean, I know we did go diamond in 9 days when we talk about it, but it's not like hi, I've arrived. You know what I mean? You gotta be willing to fail a little. I mean, it's a risk to join.
You gotta do it scared, yeah.
Yeah,
well, you're going to make mistakes sometimes, right? Like you have to plan on just doing that. And the coolest thing, like psychologically, is that your body does not know the difference between fear and excitement, right? So it's really up to you what label you put on those feelings you experience. You know, we're all going to be nervous, but choose to say like, I'm not nervous, afraid. I'm nervous, excited because something amazing is going to come out of this. And you know, maybe this is going to be that triple diamond that's going to join my team. Or, you know, maybe this is going to be that person that, you know, places a 400 BV order today. Like, who knows, right?
Yes. I love that. I heard that in the 5-second rule. Was that where you heard that a little bit? Where she
Probably.
Self-development. So I'm like, oh, I'm sure that's, I was like, yes, I love that when she said that. I'm like, okay, that's what you got to do. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm not excited. Same energy, but I love that. Okay. Then they're asking too, how are you getting, we have some people who are like, man, I'm trying to throw some parties and nobody's booking them. So what are some of your little secrets to that? And I love that you stay true to yourself and figured out what works for you. That's what I'll often tell people when they're joining me, like, hey, let's figure out, first we got to figure out what's going to work for you, because what works for me might not be what works for you. And, you know, we can't compare ourselves that way, but if you're willing to figure out what works for you, then we can stick with that. Anyways, that was a side note. How do you book parties? How do you get people to do parties for you and come to your parties?
Well, I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about it. Make it fun though, you know, put different labels on it. Don't necessarily call it a party. Like I'll say that I'm having a sampling event or a spa night or a ladies night. You know, you can put a theme to it if you want. Like we've done some silly ones or whatnot too. I've done it with other friends where we've collaborated to offer, you know, a full ladies night kind of event. But, you know, a fun way too is like when you want to go out there and people love to do stuff for free stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go to the dollar store and you get those like RIP tickets that, you know, for a draw, you can take like your Blitz card, make up a flyer for your event. And especially if you're doing it like every Wednesday, Wrap Wednesdays, or if you're doing it at a public event, then go all out with it and like make up flyers and go around and take them to local businesses and say like, I'm having a VIP, you know, a VIP night and I wanted to drop off some exclusive flyers for your staff. You know, make it sound like it's fun and it's special and something they want to be a part of, and people will feel like, you know, they don't want to miss it either. So you can take those, like print off a flyer, staple it to a Blitz card with a ticket and be like, hey, you know what, we're doing a draw at the event. You've already got a ticket to come and, you know, a ticket to enter in the draw. So you'll never know if you win unless you're there. Take it and drop it off in your neighbors' mailboxes and, you know, go around. Like I said, local businesses is a great way to do it, through your mom's group, through your local, you know, school. Like if you give your kids birthday invitations in an envelope for every child in the class to the teacher, they'll give it to every person. If you just give them a stack of envelopes for every child in the class and you don't say what it's for, they'll still give it to them. You know, so why are you not connecting with people that are already in your network? You know, you're missing out on opportunities, you know, where you can make yourself visible. And I think too, like if you live in an area where it's not very popular, for me, I was, you know, really one of the first people here in Ontario, I think, that was loud with this business. And I had to build some brand recognition. You know, people don't know it works. They didn't know what it stood for. They didn't know what it was about. People are skeptical. It just sounded too good to be true. So people just turn off, right? So put the logo everywhere, have the magnets on your car, brand yourself, wear your gear, really live your brand. And, you know, the more people see the It Works logo, the more validity it's going to have, the more open-minded they're going to become to hearing about what it is that you have to share with them too.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's so good. Okay. We have a double diamond on the team that has a big Canadian team. So she was asking, if you have a tip that's specifically for Canadians, what would your number one tip for that be?
I mean, really, there's not really anything that's too different. I would say, like, don't focus on what we have, not what we don't have. I know that sometimes there's people that are like, the US has more products or this or that. That's okay. We'll get there. We're going to grow Canada so big that eventually we'll be there. But, I think for me, one thing that I've really found is that Canadians are very health conscious. A lot of the branding that does work in the States, like calling it a skinny wrap and stuff like that, it just does not fly here. So that was something that I really had to realize and kind of teach my team, is that we have to make sure that people know we're a health and wellness company. Mention the fact that we have vitamins and greens, because that will get them to be more open-minded to hear about what it is than just to talk about the wraps. Right. But if you have a Canadian team, I would just tell you to get them excited, because I feel like Canada is going to be the biggest international country. That's our goal and our mission right now. France is like the top international country. Right. So, get ready for the boom that's coming. Know that, it is hard to pioneer in a new area, but it's so worth it. And, start small and build the community that you have. If you have Canadians, if there's people that are local, get them together. Like, the power and the energy that happens when we're physically in the room with people, that's why I love doing parties. It's the same. I started doing team meetings in my living room with 4 people, and we grew to having team meetings with over 200 people, where we had to split up and do different meetings. And, it's been really cool to watch that happen, and to just see the power of people seeing other people getting results, and people hearing other distributor stories and catching other people's excitement. Mm-hmm. So, I would just start building that culture.
Okay, you have a new distributor. How do you start them?
Well, I think it's really important to point to the tools that we have. Mm-hmm. So I love to get them to go to the training academy. I have learned over the years to not be quite so green, because I used to, for me, I want to know everything. So again, it's going to be different for my new distributors based on what color they are, what kind of I'm going to guide them through, because I want them to feel confident and excited right out the gate. And I don't want to bog them down with stuff that is going to bore them. You know what I mean? Like, a green person is going to want to know where to get those product info sheets, to read through them, the compensation plan, what are all these reports for? They need to know everything. Where if you've got a red personality, they just want to start seeing success. So, help them get out there and get their first 4 so that they've reached their first goal and they're feeling successful. Blue people, you want to make sure they're invited to the next team events that you're having and whatnot, right? So find the right ways to get people plugged in. But stick with the tools that we have, get them to go do their training academy, and check back with you as soon as they're done. I love that kind of leadership test of saying to people, how bad do you want this? If you're ready to run, I want you to go and watch through the training academy as soon as you can, and then get back to me as soon as you've completed that, with any questions that you have, and then we'll move forward. And if somebody does it the first day, I know they're ready to rock it. If it takes them a week, then, we're here to match people's efforts too. Drain you when you're pouring into people who don't want this, right? So look at some of those indicators that are going to give you a good guesstimate of kind of how to best invest your time, and then match their efforts for sure.
I love that. Gosh, you're so good. You're so good with people. That's why you are where you are. It makes complete sense. Okay.
And launch parties. Launch parties are key, for new distributors. They have to launch, I want them to do 1, if not 2, in their first 2 weeks.
I love that. I think that's so good. And I think sometimes, like I said, we get away from that, but I love the launch party. With everything, so I have some people wondering, because, Canada was kind of new and opening their, there's kind of saying stuff about Mexico and all that. What do you think with people with connections of people in Mexico, and how would you give advice that way?
Well, I mean, if you've got connections there, you want to get them excited. Keep in mind, things are a little bit different for international. I don't know whether we're going to have all of the products there. Like, if you're not familiar, like our European countries don't have any supplements whatsoever. So you can't just go and assume that every country has everything. If you truly want to build somewhere, I'd advise you to go and read up some of the documents in the e-suite. Go look up the product and price and BV list and see what's available there, and that kind of thing. But really, it's going to be the same no matter where you build. It's about building relationships, people, right? So get online and like make new friends in that area if that's really where you want to build. Don't get hung up with feeling like you need to build in an area just because it's new there. It's still new everywhere. Like in your backyard, if you go out blitzing, you will meet people every day who have never heard about this company or these products or this opportunity. So, don't hang your hat on like, oh, it's Mexico, like it's going to be totally different. It's the same thing everywhere. So it's just where you want to grow your team. If your goal is to grow an international team, then awesome. Yes, there's going to be extra things that you need to learn and, find out about the different countries as you go. But it's a lot of fun to be a part of something like that. It's crazy to think that right now, like only 90% of our business comes from the US. Only 10% of our business comes from all the other 20 international countries that we are open in. Yeah. So, we've just barely scratched the surface, and, we're still working out the kinks in international, as we grow. But I always say that growth doesn't happen without growing pains, and it's cool that we get to be a part of this. We're going to see our company become a household name in every country that we're open in. And to keep just expanding globally. So grow strong where you are, grow strong where you're comfortable, and just be open to wherever you're supposed to go beyond there.
Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, last question. Would you give us one aha moment you've had in the business?
Oh, gosh. I think it would really just be that your why can evolve. And it's really important to keep redreaming. So, like if we lose sight of our why, like, that's key in us continuing to thrive in this business. And so we have to know that it's okay if your why changes, or if it grows, into something different as you go. And, when you have a goal, if you don't get there, like it's okay to take a different path to get there too. It's like when you shoot at if you're shooting an arrow at a target and something gets in your way, like life or, circumstances or people or whatever, like you don't say, oh, I guess I'm never going to reach that goal. Like you just move and take a different perspective on it, take a different angle. Don't change the goal, change the date, change the method to reach the goal. But I've just learned that I have to be willing to flex and like think outside the box and find those different ways to still accomplish the things I want to accomplish. And to remember to really just keep my why strong in front of me, because God does have a bigger purpose for every single one of us. He's brought you here for a reason. And when you just stay open to that, you're going to see amazing things happen. And it might not, maybe you're not reaching the rank that you want, or you're not getting where you want to in your business, because there's a lesson that you're supposed to learn along the way. I don't think that we make mistakes in this business or, in life. Everything's a lesson. Don't ever feel like you've wasted time on, pursuing a goal or working with someone or whatever. There's always a lesson that you can learn from it. And just be willing to be a constant learner. Constant learners are constant earners.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. Constant learners are constant earners. I love that. As you're talking, it reminded me this morning, I was reading a John Maxwell book, and it was talking about we stress so much time on trying to make the right decision instead of putting our time in managing the decision we've already made. So it's like, oh, did I make the right decision joining the business, or did I make a mistake or whatever? But it's like, no, I made this decision, so now I'm going to manage how to keep going because I made that decision already. And that's where we put our time into is figuring out, like you said, just because you miss a target doesn't mean you're not supposed to shoot again, or doesn't mean you made a mistake, or it's because you learned, you learned what not to do, or you learned what you need to do more of, or, it's just such a journey. And I think that's why we're thankful for this business, because it's made us better in the midst of it. But gosh, you have such a powerful story and such an incredible heart in it. I loved this. I loved getting to hear you a little more, and, just know that we're cheering you on and we're thankful for you. And thank you so much for just giving us your time. And we just appreciate you.
Thank you. It was such an honor for me to get to join you guys tonight. And I can't wait to see everybody at conference. If you see me, come and say hello.
Yes, I know. That's what I was going to say. So if you haven't got a ticket to conference, you need to come and make it happen, because that's one of the most life-changing things you can do for your business, for sure. But yes, well, I'm excited to give you a hug and see you.
Yes, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
It'll be great. All right. Have a great night, Barb. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks. You too.
And everybody, just remember, Thursday night, we do have an online party coming out. So you'll know you can be a part of that too. Okay. Oh, wait, I need to take a picture. I forgot. Okay. Here we go. All right, y'all. Let's see your faces. Don't get me in trouble with Sherry not taking a picture. Okay. And no black screens. Here they come. She calls you out. You know that every time. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yay. All right. We got it. Okay. Have a great night, everybody. And thanks again, Barb, so much.